They were designed to stop the car when you finished the race and you drove into the pits.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with going fast around the corners.
Yep. The frame itself, that's been, have you made that from scratch, or is that something that you found?
We found the car as a roller in Pennsylvania, and a friend of mine who I bought it off is a saviour of vintage race cars. Right. So originally built by Hiram Hillegass with Hillegass Race Cars, Pennsylvania. And Hillegass built Midgets and Sprint cars. And when he passed away, this car sat in a barn. It went through 2 hands. And the guy I bought off is a friend of mine. He's a saviour of vintage race cars. He didn't want it because it's never raced. It didn't have any race history.
Oh, real.
And the Americans are real keen on race history.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't care. No race history. So it's a tribute car, this car.
Right.
To each company had a house car. Frank Curtis Craft. He built the car in his pocket. He put a driver in it. He'd win a race in a Curtis race car. He'd sell a new car tomorrow on Monday.
Yeah.
People say, I've got to have a Curtis car. That's how the race car people work. So Hiram put Tommy Hinnershit's the Flying Dutchman in his house car. Flying Dutchman, East Coast race car, the best there ever was. And Flying Dutchman, Tommy Hinnershit's, was respected by AJ Foyt. And when AJ Foyt makes a comment about the respect of a driver, he's a good one. So anyway, the Flying Dutchman's car was golden yellow with a blue, royal blue base, number 2 on the back. So we're building this as a dedication car to Hiram and Tommy.
There you go.
Hinnershit's.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So be fully painted.
Yeah, fully
once
painted,
finished.
leaded.
Yep.
The wheels that are on it we made in Australia. And yeah, it's have the correct style of wheels, correct style of colour and paint, correct steering. Look, there's a bit of poetic license in this car because we're not duplicating a dead original Hillegass. And Hillegass, quite often he would build a pair of chassis rails with no brackets. So they race them Saturday, crash them Sunday. Hillegass would fix them Monday. So this car was a pile of parts in a shed.
Wow.
Could have been put together as a whole car. The bonnet or the grille could have been sold to somebody on a Monday after. The chassis rail, that body frame, could have been taken out of the pile to repair a race car.
Yeah.
So, do I care? No. It's here.
And so by chance or luck that you were able to find, it was reasonably complete.
Yes.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
It has an option of 5 or 6 different motors. The correct engine is 100,000 Australian, 50 US, being an Offenhauser 4-cylinder.
Wow.
The best race engine ever built, bar none. Midget, Sprint, Indy, boats. If you had an Offie, an Offie Midget engine was 5,000 US in 48. The average house you bought was about 5,000. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm putting a Dodge Hemi Red Ram in this, which was peculiar to that class.
Yep.
So it's not out of character.
Yep.
Bloody dear, but it's affordable.
Yeah. And what sort of transmission will you be running in this?
It's getting a modern T5 transmission.
Yep.
And they look old. It's getting a normal clutch, a starter motor, a charging system. These cars had an in-out clutch like a box, like a ski boat.
Yep.
Put them into gear, push start it, pull
Yep.
them out of gear, stop.
Yeah.
This has to be usable, so we're putting a T5. The Dodge motor has an original gearbox adapter to a Chev gearbox, so it's getting a modern scatter shield, modern T5, not because it's 5-speed, but the gear sticks comes out in the middle between your legs.
Yeah.
and the gearbox company in Queensland take the back extension housing off, and they make that as a conversion for Jaguars. So it's 12 inches shorter, which fits, and it's just got a flange coming out the back of the gearbox.
Yep.
Melwood Automotive.
Yep.
So we're just negotiating a box now. So you hop in it, it'll have a press button start. Original little chrome button. There's a vintage Ford start button. And yeah.
And so that dial there, that's
fuel injection.
Yep.
Rich and lean. It's called the dialer jet or dialer pill.
Yep.
And we'll set the fuel injection pressure on the dyno. Here first, then on the dyno. And then when we run this on the chassis dyno, we'll have the air fuel sniffers in it. And you can go 2 or 3 clicks to the left, Rich, 2 or 3 clicks to the right.
Yeah. So,
right. So we'll shuffle that. So the temperature can alter with alcohol.
Yes.
So it's getting cool now. So we were at race at Winton 5 weeks time.
End of May.
So it's cold.
It's going to be cold.
So 1 click lean brings the temperature up.
Yep. So you can just obviously adjust that on the fly as you go.
Certainly can. You gaze at the temperature gauge, and if the motor's
Yep.
cold
Yep.
and spongy on the pedal, it should be crisp temperature there.
Yep.
So yeah, we just I can click it lean, go to Phillip Island, and last year it was 40 degrees at the island.
Yeah.
So I could maybe 2 positions. It's about 5 thou per. There's a thing we call the pill in there. Looks like an Aspro with a little tiny hole in it. So I've got a bunch of pills with different size holes.
Yeah.
Fuel. The fuel comes in from the pump into the injection, comes out to the tank, and it restricts the flow out, so it alters the internal pressure.
Right.
So yeah, we can play with that. That's what the workshop's for. That's what the dyno's to set it up.
Yep. And battery mounts down nice and low as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The under tray comes down around there. Probably lower the seat. Take this cross member out and drop the seat. Ergonomics is very important in these things. So the seat position is to be determined, yeah.
Sure.
So we'll put it on the ground.
That's what it would have been back in the day. Obviously, it depends on the driver that's driving it.
Short.
How tall? Yeah.
Skinny. Fat, narrow.
Yep.
Light.
And you'd have the insert molded, obviously, to suit as well.
Yeah. So.
And so you've got all the panels.
Yeah.
So you got bonnet down there.
Under tray. That goes.
That's the under tray, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
that's
Yeah.
the under tray.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, but they all have a front and rear under tray. And that finishes the body off, and the tail panel's over there.
Yes.
And yeah, the shock is a lever action hydraulic.
Yep.
And they're fully adjustable, soft and hard. 1937.
Yeah. How's that?
So these shockers will sit about there with the link bracket there.
Yep.
Right. And I've got some of these new old stock, and there's an excellent company in the States restore these called Apple Hydraulics.
So this is all because you've changed the whole rear end on this. Like, it's not how it was.
Oh, it's very close to how it was.
Okay.
Right. They all ran quick change Hillebrand diffs,
All right.
bar none.
Yep.
They usually ran an open shaft like that diff up there and these hubs because they didn't want a differential. They had a straight, solid bit of axle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But this thing's going to turn left and right.
Yes.
So now we've converted this, but early Ford V8
9-inch
axle housings,
Yeah.
9-inch axles with a limited slip diff in the centre. And they said it doesn't work. Bullshit. So we've concocted, it still all looks old.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a Model T Ford rear spring. So it's got the arch up in there to clear the diff going up and down.
Yep.
So anyway, it's
No, very cool.
it's pretty close to period correct-ish,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
So
But with the changes required to make it a
drivable car.
something you can run in hill climbs and any of the road races.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. Back to this.
So Hillebrand brakes.
Hillebrand made brake kits, rotors, hubs, pressure plates, and knock-ons. Hillebrand's was specific to race cars.
Yeah.
And on some sports cars, like early Cobras and AC Cobras and AC Aces and that.
Yeah.
So he specialised in brakes. That's a Midget oval track brake caliper that was on the rear of a Midget.
Yep.
We had no brakes on the front of these cars. The brakes were there to stop you going into the pit gate.
Just to stop and get your fuel and...
That's it.
Yeah.
So I made, aesthetically it's right, but usually have 60% brake on the front, 40% on your back. Is it going to work? I think it'll work fair. But we've got to juggle the master cylinder sizes. So that is the little brother of that.
Which we've got those in our workshop now.
Down the workshop.
Yeah.
So that's what you guys are restoring. So it just slides on the pins. I've got to drill and lock wire these because I don't know how I'm going to get nut in behind it. But that's a Hillebrand brake arrangement.
Yes.
Same thing.
So as the pad wears, that caliper slides on the actual mounting
on the mount
bolts.
point.
Yeah.
So it starts midway.
Yep.
And moves that way because the pistons come out
further as it wears. Yeah.
As it wears. Yeah. So they're pretty. Ted Hillebrand copied. I don't know who copied who, but a lot of aeroplanes had disc brakes just immediately post-war. So race cars were running drum brakes prior to the war.
Yep.
Somewhere just pre-war, some people individually used aircraft disc brakes.
Yep.
And immediately post-war, when things got back to manufacturing, Hillebrand started putting diffs into production, his brakes into production. They're magnesium, because race car people want everything light. But have a look at this, you know.
Yeah.
It's actually quite good inside, but pretty terrible on the outside. Yeah. And then the race car blokes, 16-inch wheels, 18-inch wheels, they went to 15-inch. So you find a lot of these have been ground away, but are still okay.
And this will be obviously on display at Winton. That's its first outing?
First outing.
Yes.
Have all the wheels. I'll repolish the wheels slightly. They're copies of the original Hillebrand wheels. Hillebrand made wheels, geez, right up into the 70s.
Magnesium?
Originally, yes.
Okay.
Today, no.
Right.
The magnesium foundry, these wheels, a magnesium wheel is 7 kilos, and these are 14. These are A601 alloy.
Yep.
Heat treated to T6. So they have the correct alloys. But the magnesium founder in Victoria, the gentleman who owned it, passed away. I don't know why I didn't search another magnesium. Do I need to have magnesium wheels? The polish finish on magnesium is gorgeous. Polish them today, they're grey next week.
Yeah.
Oh, drive you
So
nuts.
the maintenance, yeah.
And these things they've been sitting there 12 months to 2 years. I'll give them a lick with a bit of
Brasso.
even better than that. There's a rip a little tub.
Yeah.
Mothers make it.
Okay.
Rub it on, goes black, polish up. Beautiful.
Mm.
So we'll give them a little polish, put them on. And I took the bonnet in the other day to get Kelso Special. I bought off Patrick Kelso. He's the last owner, so I'm respecting him.
Yep.
So it's got Kelso Special is the name of the car.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got McConnellsburg PA. So we're going to put that on the
Yeah.
bonnet.
Beautiful.
Just to identify it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're finding issues as we go, but so what?
That's the whole part of having something like this and
Yeah.
building it, learning. And no doubt once it's on the road and driving, you're going to find more things that will need tweaking or changing.
You know, fortunately, we're close to Winton Motor Raceway.
Yes.
So I said to my young bloke, I said, I'll go down to Melbourne a bit. I'll bring home 2 or 3 200 litres of fuel, ethanol, alcohol, put them here on a pell, take a drum full of Winton and we'll go track testing.
Yep.
And I said, when we run out of fuel, we come home. And the more track testing you can do, the more reliable the car hopefully should be.
Yeah.
So got a lot of good people on the deal. Pop your head up here. There's some more Hillegass brakes here. These have been, that's the brake puck. And these have been reconditioned in the States. So, and these are all designed by Hillegass, but these end plates have got Earhart. So Earhart took over brake manufacturing after Hillegass. But so we got a said Earhart's well. That's Hillegass. It's got an Earhart end plate. And yeah. So these officially are the front ones for that. But I'm going to pull them apart. They're coming down to you to be measured and checked. But fortunately, they're not all frozen and they're in nice shape, you know. And, you know, I actually bought about 30 of these recently. I spotted them. And they're probably full of asbestos and they probably work really good. So there's an elderly fellow that makes these. So they'll probably have a modern brake material in them. And there's some more rears and they've been chewed up. I give them a bit of a sand up to clean up, and you know, that's actually quite tidy in the bores. You know, so
you grab whatever you can grab, even though it's had a bit of wear and tear. Oh. you just grab them, right? Because
they've had more hits than Elvis.
Yeah.
You know? Yes. I've got 2 or 3 more of these out in the they used to chisel them out a bit, but they will repair nice. Being magnesium, you go to get those little tiny screws out there and they shear off. Well, it's fixable, but it's a pain. So yeah, so we'll you guys have got 4 down there, so I've got two that are going on the car.
Yep.
2 that are spares reconditioned, And those two will come off and go in a plastic tub upstairs. That's all spares and duplicates for the race car that we've acquired, or I've acquired, and a lot of the I better uncover a
bit of shiny things.
That's a rocker cover for the motor.
Beautiful.
One of them.
Yes.
Only 10 sets made in the US.
Wow.
All right, so that'll hang out the side of the bonnet.
Yeah.
And the bonnet will come to about here. So that'll be in your face.
Mm.
And in your face ugly, I call it. All right. And a real race car has chrome tubes out the bonnet.
Absolutely.
So this bolts straight to the head face as you look at the front of the car, and the other set go like that.
Yep.
So
yep.
that's a Hillborn fuel injection. Piss and dribble, as we call it.
Yeah.
So piddle and dribble.
Yeah.
And it's the 150th set of injection that Mr. Hillborn made.
Right. They're numbered, are they?
They're numbered.
There you go.
Every Hillborn injector's numbered.
Huh.
Right. So this was built new in the mid-50s. Went on a race boat. The boat destroyed itself, and they put this and the motor in the shed and left it there.
Wow.
The guy I bought off the original owner.
How do you find, like, even the car itself? Do you just get word of?
My nickname is Have a Chat.
Yes.
As you work out, right? You got to talk a lot.
Yes. Talk to many people, and they say, I know of a guy that's got that. You know.
I bought another race car 20 years ago off the bloke I bought that off, mate.
Yeah.
A Polish immigrant. His parents were Polish immigrants. He was Polish American. Stan, 6'6". Smoked a pipe, big solid. Said the F word too much.
Yes.
And Stanley and I become friends. I met him at a swap meet.
Right.
I bought a Midget race car off Stan's mate, a Curtis Craft, purebred.
Mm.
My youngest son is Curtis, Kurtis, named after Curtis Craft. And I flew out to New York State to see Bobby to buy the car because I was snooping on a Curtis Craft car. I had Australian copies, which I'd sold.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy a Curtis.
Yeah.
Right or wrong. So I did a heap of snooping. And back then you wrote letters. You rang a few people.
Mm-hmm.
And I joined 2 vintage race car clubs, one California, one East Coast.
Yeah.
And I get a newsletter about an article about this guy, Bobby Albert. And he was a hot shot. He grew up 10 years older than Mario Andretti. So Andretti was the kid and Bob was the professional racer.
Mm.
So I rang this bloke, sent a letter to the club, rang up the bloke, got a number, rang him up. What are you doing? And he sounded like a Chicago gangster. Scared the hell out of me. So anyway, Bob said, Bob, I need to buy a Curtis Midget. I believe you've got one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got an Offenhauser in, it's cost you a lot of money. Yeah, I know, but I've sold 2 midgets, so we corresponded for 6 or 8 months. Sent him photos of what I had.
Yes.
Appease him, if that's the word.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he sent me a photo of a car that he had, a genuine Curtis with a chassis number, with an Offenhauser in it. It had been raced, historic races. Pretty poorly restored, but the motor was good. So I ended up buying it. I flew there to get it. I'm not going to spend that much money and not see my car. So I went out. He was good, treated me like a son.
Yeah.
He said, I'll take you to Hershey swap meet. Introduce you to the Polak. It's a nickname for a Polish American. Stan. He introduced me to Stan. Walked up there. Hey, Bobby. Go, Stan. Here's my Aussie mate. Stan turned around. There's 3 or 4 people there. And Stan goes, you got to be that kangaroo we've all been talking about. I said, and hello to you. So we were mates 30 years ago.
Yeah, there you go.
And it was Stan's mate that I bought that off.
Right.
So I bought a car off Stan a few years later. The big version of that, but a 60s version, which really wasn't the shape I wanted. I had it sitting over there.
Yeah.
Beautiful big car. And a friend of mine saw the car and he raced the Formula 5000 historic. He said, you still got that champ car? Yeah. Would you sell it to me? Usually no, but I like you. I said, that thing's coming out of the shelf over there and I'm going to need to juggle the money. You know?
Yeah.
So he bought me a big car off me and I bought that.
Yeah.
So that group of East Coast vintage racers, we've been friends for ages.
There you go.
And so this fuel injection will be hanging out the top. Oh, the bonnet's not here, but it was there. There'll be 8 stacks hanging out the bonnet.
Yeah.
You know?
Very cool.
And sort of very close to period correct.
Yes.
You know? And people don't like that injection because it's fiddly. But I've grown up with it. And I'm very happy to have 8 chrome tubes out the hood.
So yeah, tell me a bit about this Indy Roadster that.
Okay, it's an Indy Roadster.
And you found it. So you got word of this, and it was hanging on a wall, right?
On a wall.
Yeah.
The guy that sold me that.
Yeah.
I take a guided tour to Hershey swap meet every few years.
Yeah.
So I walk into Hershey's. Before I go there, I ring Patrick Kelso, the guy I know. I said, "Are you in Redfield?" He said, "Same stall, same place."
Yeah.
And he said, "I'm taking a Roadster chassis and body." I said, "Oh, don't tell me that." Anyway, I said, "Well, don't sell the damn thing till I get there." And I said, "I'm there at 8 o'clock on the first day."
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can shift this stuff if you want to.
No, that's okay.
And so we get to Hershey. We park the car about 100 metres away in the park. Walk over, and here's this body, this chassis and that body, mocked up sitting in the trailer.
Yeah.
Indy Roadsters are worth, with history, with race history,
yeah,
and pictorial race history.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you said five of us couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
At least.
AJ Foyt's Indy winning mid-60s Roadster built by Watson. It was like 2.5 million, 3 million.
Wow.
At the big auction,
Yeah.
The fancy car auction
Yeah.
over there. Because it had race history,
Mm-hmm.
it had Foyt driving it, and had Watson build it.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate.
Mm.
And the rest of the cars come down the line.
Yeah.
This is the only Indy Roadster, genuine Indy Roadster chassis and body in Australia.
And it just was never raced. So it was built and then was just a spare part.
Spare part.
Yeah.
A guy, you can look up Gibson, I think it's Don Gibson, Gibson race cars or race car fabricator. You can.
Yep.
And there's pictures of him. He came in. These cars eventually got roll cages as time progressed.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
They took Indy Roadsters and called them, when time was progressing and the Roadster period was declining, they call them modifieds. So they used to put roll cages on them and wings on the roof. So
yeah.
That was a modified.
Right.
So then they lost the pretty shape.
Yeah. And you'll send me through, so like insert picture of what this actually would look like.
I'll show you the book in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
You can take some photos of I've got an Indy Roadster history book.
Yes.
And they're to die for.
Yeah.
They're pretty as heck.
Yeah.
Pretty as heck.
Before the safety and regulations started to really come into play.
And by that time they were smoking marijuana the engineers and things got a bit crazy and a bit different.
Yeah, they were trying some wacky things, right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They had often hours or engines. See, small block Chev motors came along.
Yeah.
So there was front engine big cars like that. Then there was roadsters, and the front engine era went down. They started having rear engine cars, like early Formula One cars.
Yep.
And they'd go faster. There you go.
Yeah.
Speed costs how fast did you want to go?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it'll get restored.
And solid axle.
Solid axle. This one we're going to experiment with a solid axle and no differential.
Right. Interesting.
I've done some homework. Again, it won't have Hallobrand brakes, because they were old-fashioned by then. Hey, they look good, but they don't stop.
Yeah.
This will have Willwood branded brakes on it.
Right. Okay.
That's going to be out of character, but it'll have modern, new Willwood brakes.
Yeah.
And you get a rotor, 14-inch odd rotor, 1 1/8 wide.
Yeah.
4 or 6 piston. That'll stop. Come through. My car over there.
The one we're taking to
Winton.
Yep.
Right. Buzz Rose wrote this book. He's a friend of mine. And the car we're taking to Winton is one of these cars. These are Sprint cars, right? And my name's in here somewhere, but anyway, a friend of mine helped me get this book and introduced me to Buzz. So there's some Sprint cars.
Yeah.
Right? And you can see these have got Chevys in them. We've got the injectors through the roof, through the bonnet.
Yep.
4 pipes out the sides. A friend of mine, Rosie Roussel, the first American race driver that I met, is in here. And he was a Sprint car driver. And he put me on to Buzz. So we drove down to LA from Bakersfield. Oh, there we go. I've worked on that to my buddy, Mel Church. That's called the Track Roadster.
Okay.
And they were prior to Indy Roasters.
Very different shape. Like
Model T Ford bodies.
Yeah, okay.
Poor man's race car.
Yep.
Old Chevy chassis and poor man's race car. That was my bedroom in Bakersfield.
Really?
A free bedroom for 20 or 30 years. Yeah, they're all Sprint cars like the little one out there.
Yep.
Right, so that's what we're portraying, that period of car. There's an interesting scenario here. Here's Rosie, my mate, in this car, and 2 others at Riverside. It was the first time oval track dirt cars raced on a road course. Two others at Riverside during a 500-mile event. It's a road course.
There you go.
Right. Riverside.
One taking a dive.
Yeah, Riverside. Bud Rose here, the bloke who wrote this book, explains to the movie star Deanne Cannon, Riverside Trophy Queen. This was a car used to please a lady. Clark Gable, see the Clark Gable there?
Yeah.
Starring Clark Gable and Barbara Stanwyck.
Yeah.
Right, this is the bloke that wrote the book. So they did race sprint cars and American oval track cars. There's a picture of the track here.
With left and rights in it.
With left and right. So there you go.
Well, look, thank you very much for the tour of your workshop and all the good stuff around. No, well, appreciate it and thank you very much. And we'll see you at Winton.
Yeah.